Welcome. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Wednesday, episode 2 of NERDvember, where I upload on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the month of November, talking about my favorite nerdy things, and each week is broken into themes. And this theme for this week is Star Trek, and I've already revealed my favorite Star Trek film. So today I'm revealing my least favorite Star Trek film, and then on Friday I'm going to be talking about a Star Trek film that kind of gets lost in the middle of the whole franchise, not including the Kelvin timeline. I'll be doing those for a separate video, but this for Friday's film, it just gets kind of lost between the good and the bad. So today I'm talking about my least favorite, and before I go any further, click subscribe, hit the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, and share, because doing those things helps me and helps you stay notified when my videos goes live, helps my channel get out there, and as well as when you leave a comment down below, I want to hear what you have to say. Is my today's picks matched up with what you thought was going to happen, or what I thought I was going to pick, and what you think I'm going to be picking for Friday's kind of middle of the road Star Trek film. Because if you know your Star Trek films, you kind of may have a good idea where I'm going to be heading towards that one. And I do have a little bit of a retraction, a little bit, because in the last video I was going to be like, I kind of gave a hint as to what my least favorite Star Trek film was going to become from, which is the original cast. But in preparation, I ended up watching the two films that I thought I would kind of go back and forth between on, and I just come to the conclusion that it is coming from the TNG era of Star Trek, and it is Star Trek Nemesis, or Star Trek Nemesis. Sorry. It was originally supposed to be the Final Frontier. It really was, in full disclosure. But after rewatching that one, and I found it to be not that bad, okay? Yes, it has some elements in that movie that should have been changed. It should have been, like, very drastically different. Like, I don't mind them traveling to the center of the universe to find God. You know, I don't mind that, because religion and science kind of sometimes butt heads, and they do kind of come together in some form, and I really don't mind that. I think that is a pretty cool idea, to travel to the center of the universe to find this ultimate being, okay, in some form. And they were being held prisoner by a renegade Vulcan, but just some aspects of that particular movie just didn't make sense. Like, Spock had a half brother. I think he should have been more of a friend that portrayed him in some ways. So he really gave Spock a true reason not to talk about him, rather than just being thrown off to one side as kind of like a piece of dialogue. It's like, oh, I just chose not to talk about him because I just didn't want to talk about my personal life. And just the interaction between the crew in this movie was really good, especially the beginning of the movie, where they're just sitting around a campfire talking and everything. I really liked that aspect. And Scotty and Sulu and Chekhov and Uhura all had some really good moments in this as well. So just overall, that one, just what I remembered, wasn't as bad as I thought it was, until I watched Star Trek Nemesis, and that really put everything into light about what really is a good Star Trek film, or what makes a bad Star Trek film. And I think this kind of hits the boxes. Spoiler here, I do not mind that them killing off Data, okay? I think it was more for Brent Spiner, who plays the character, because he's supposed to be this ageless robot, and I'm not quite sure how they're going to be handling that in Picard, because I'm waiting for that series to be done so I can just watch it straightforward all the way through. But I don't mind killing off characters. Like, they killed off Spock, they've killed off Kirk, in other movies. They brought Spock back, but I didn't mind them killing off characters, okay? And then killing off Data wasn't that big of a deal to me, okay? I like Data, but him sacrificing himself for the greater good, for everything, it made sense, okay? It really made him human, okay? it made everything that had come before kind of worth it in my mind. But that being said, having a Romulan clone of Picard, I just don't buy it. Okay, I don't like cloning aspects of it in my movies. Anyways, I'm just not. Cloning just seems kind of, if done well. Okay, I'll put like an asterisk to it. It can be done well. Okay, cloning can have its place in sci-fi or horror or whatever, but in Star Trek, I think it feels kind of off to me. Just to me, I don't know. It just them and the clone is dying, so they need Picard, and he's just butthurt about some things, and he's going to take it out on Earth. And it, like, how many times have Earth has been attacked in these movies? Okay, and that was really truly the deciding factor on which of these two movies that really was kind of like, which one is worse? Do I go with something a little bit more? Do I give the benefit of the doubt to the film that tries to do something different by going to the center of the universe and finding God, or in some form, or some ultimate being, or a cloning movie by some teenager who's having a fit, And so I really hate to break it down like that, but this is basically, I mean, there's more to it. I love everyone in this movie. Like, I do want to talk about some positives. The death of Data was pretty cool. The special effects are great. Some of the characters do kind of get sidelined for this story. I find this one to be very weak, okay? And to end the TNG cast on this movie is kind of a bummer. And that's exactly kind of why I chose this one as my least favorite, because this is the last of the Next Generation cast of films. Which I wish they would have been able to make one more, be really like, all right, let's go out on a better note, okay? Dealing with the death of Data and stuff like that. And I think Troy and Riker get married in this one, and been really cool to kind of see a little bit more, like maybe something. I'm not quite sure where they would go, but I just think they've been more beneficial to have one final film after this one, due to like how weak this one was. And I know we still got to cut like at least one more after the original cast, after the final Frontier, which I enjoyed the Undiscovered Country a lot. I'm working my way through the director's cut for the first time on that one. But anyways, yeah, this one I just did like it. The special effects was good. There is so much about this movie that was done very well, but the story just didn't grab me. And that's, to me, is what makes or breaks a movie most of the time. Like, that's why I like Seasons of the Witch. To kind of jump back to the horror realm, even though it is technically a Halloween movie, I like how it's like this toy company that is using pieces of Stonehenge to kill kids. I love that aspect. That is so cool, and it's done really like cheesy and campy, and it does have some really creepy moments in it, especially when the kid's head starts melting and everything. So, but yeah, and like I wish they would have taken a bigger risk with this movie. That's all I really hoped. I think this would have been a little bit more beneficial if they were like, if this is our last one, let's go out with a bang. And if they did this, kill Picard, instead of Data. Data could have been all right, or those two go out together, like, yeah, like instead of like doing the whole switcheroo and like I think how it went down was Data, they had like one last transport thing, and they like, all right, gave it to Picard at the last second, and then he went back to the Enterprise or wherever, and then Data sacrificed himself, killing whatever his name is. I can't even think of Shinzon. I can't even remember the name. But yeah, I just felt like this was a weaker movie. I have nothing against the direction or the actors involved, or the music was actually pretty decent, but it just wasn't that good. And I respect Final Frontier a little more for being a tad bit more original, and that's kind of what was the deciding factor. That was it. So that is all. That is my I could go more into the plot, but if you really wanted to stop at Insurrection, I think that would have been a more aptly ended movie, because at least that one felt like a Star Trek movie, or a glorified episode of Star Trek. So, but yeah, this is just pass on this one. But as you know, if you are a Star Trek fan, you've probably seen them all. And I'm a little behind on my Star Trek. I'm focusing on other things right now, but yeah, it's Star Trek Nemesis is my least favorite Star Trek film, but you never know. Maybe in 10 years or so, after I do a really solid rewatch of all of them, this may jump a little, just depending on how I feel about the whole cloning aspect. But because I was surprised to kind of like the Final Frontier a little bit more than I thought I had, which was a nice, but this still remained at the bottom regardless, but due to my newfound appreciation for the Final Frontier, this one fell to the bottom. So that is all. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and don't forget to click subscribe, hit the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, because tomorrow on Friday, today's Wednesday, sorry, on Friday's episode of NERDvember, I will be revealing my least favorite, kind of the middle of the road Star Trek film, and I promise you, it will come from this one. It's a good middle of the road Star Trek film. So that is all. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and all I can say is live long and prosper, and thank you.